It is better now, yes.
Gosh, yeah. Hey, thanks for joining us for KARE 11 News at Noon. We've got a lot to get to today. Today could be the first time this session that both parties in the Minnesota House come together in more than 3 weeks.
Finally.
That's a big deal. Yeah, more on the deal they reached in a minute. Plus, there's still pressure on federal workers to decide if they'll take a buyout deal tonight. But first, let's get back to you. Check in with Mace about what's happening out there.
The only inconvenience right now is really windy conditions and some leftover slippery spots in the roads, but the roads are much better than they were a few hours ago where we had several accidents in the metro. Wind advisory out till 6 tonight, gusts 40 to 50 miles an hour. Seeing that now, central southern Minnesota and into western Wisconsin. Check out the latest gusts, 51 in St. Cloud, 45 in the metro, 40 towards Rochester, 40 in Brainerd, even Alexandria 45. So it will be a windy afternoon, and obviously that really makes it feel much colder outside than it was this time yesterday. Wind chills all in the negatives, even as cold as 25 below in Bemidji. We're just below 0 here in the Twin Cities. Our temp is as warm as 18, but again, those strong winds really make it feel much, much colder, even 0 right now towards Bemidji. There's a look at area roads, and again in the metro we're green now, so just some wet roads and slick spots in the secondary highways. St. Cloud and northwards where there was a little more snow last night, couple inches, and of course some of that freezing drizzle late. There are still some icy areas also over towards Alexandria. Temps fall out of the teens into the single digits over the next few hours, and then we wait for the next system to move in. There's last night's storm that moves away, but here's the system out west. It's still way out there in the Pacific, entering the California coastline, but coming up on Friday evening into Saturday, another more noticeable snowfall for everyone. More impactful snow, we'll say. That's Friday night into Saturday. Winter storm watch is already issued.
All right, thanks for that update. We'll see you in a bit.
Okay.
In just a few hours, we can expect to see both Republican and DFL state representatives at the Capitol. That's because last night, both sides finally reached an agreement to continue with the current House session. We heard from lawmakers just hours ago about the terms of the deal. And one of the biggest takeaways is that GOP Representative Lisa Demuth will serve as House Speaker through 2026. And DFL Representative Brad Tapke will be seated after a judge upheld his close win last month. Republicans do have a one-seat majority and will chair committees right now, but a special election on March 11th could tie the chamber, and then all but one committee will be co-chaired. Both parties say they're ready to move forward.
And even though we had these rough few weeks, we can turn the page now, and we have an opportunity to really show Minnesotans that we can govern together in a collaborative way.
We are ready to go with a full slate. We look forward to working with our Democrat colleagues as they return today to the chamber, and we look forward to getting the work together.
We have crews following this developing situation. Stick around for continuing coverage. That's going to start tonight at 4. By next month, that empty House seat we mentioned will finally be filled. In the last 24 hours, Governor Tim Walz put the special election on the calendar. Voters in Roseville and Shoreview will head to the polls on March 11th. A judge ruled the winner in the November election couldn't be sworn in because he didn't meet residency requirements. That left a temporary one-seat majority for House Republicans and led to the chaos in the chamber. Governor Walz originally called for that election last week, but the Supreme Court said that was just too soon. Well, thousands of federal workers have just hours left to decide if they'll resign from their jobs and take the president's buyout deal or risk potential layoffs. The deadline is 11 p.m., but as it turns out, the deal might be too good to be true. Michelle Beck explains why.
Some new details are emerging in the countdown to tonight's deadline. Those who can't take the deal just yet are IRS employees critical to this tax season. With that, your tax season is shaping out to be no different in terms of who's overseeing it. Some worry, though, other parts of American life are threatened as the Trump administration attempts to downsize the federal workforce of roughly 2 million people. We now know the buyout also applies to workers at the CIA and NSA. National security experts have warned cuts here can put lives at risk.
They're getting rid of all of the people that really have the background and experience that can keep us safe and know how to do their job.
It's certainly not a cost-cutting measure to throw away decades of experience and millions of dollars in training.
According to the letter sent yesterday to employees, the IRS workers who are not allowed to take the deal by tonight will have 3 more months to weigh the decision. Of course, taxpayers are 2 months out from the filing deadline. Back to you.
Thanks to Michelle for that. Just hours ago, President Donald Trump took to social media, doubling down on his proposal for the U.S. to take over the Gaza Strip. On Truth Social, he posted a plan saying Israel would turn the area over to the U.S., adding that no U.S. soldiers would be needed. Meanwhile, Israel said it started preparations for the departure of Palestinians from the Gaza Strip. It comes as Palestinians strongly reject the proposal. We have the latest from Tel Aviv.
I think one of the most startling things of the last 48 hours is the conversation shifting away from the hostages and getting the hostages back into Israel and more towards corralling around, of course, Prime Minister Netanyahu and the idea that Palestinians could essentially leave Gaza after what we heard from the White House and President Trump standing beside Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. For a long time, the Prime Minister's power has been in question, and there was a sense that he was prolonging this war in order to remain in power. But now, after what it seems getting the backing of President Trump and the possibility of getting Palestinians out of Gaza, something the right wing of his government is very much in support of, they are now corralling more around the prime minister, and the conversation is moving away from getting those hostages out of Gaza in spite of max amount of pressure from the Family Forum here in Tel Aviv and in Israel overall, and getting those remaining 79 hostages out of Israel. With that all in mind, the question is, does this put the ceasefire deal, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, the day after, in question? We'll learn more in the next couple of days, but certainly a lot in question here in Israel.
In the last 24 hours, President Trump delivered on another key campaign promise, barring transgender women and girls from competing in female sports. Trump signed the executive order yesterday. The White House says the order aims to protect women's access to safe and fair opportunities in athletics. That order also says schools that don't comply risk losing federal funding. In less than an hour, students at the U of M will be in front of the student union protesting to keep ICE off their campus. The emergency protest comes after the university announced it's complying with court-backed ICE immigration orders put in place by the Trump administration.